military, but he's their commander-in-chief. So he has to quickly learn how to take over the role of commander-in-chief, having not been a general before, and how to deal with the military in such a way that they would not overwhelm him. They not necessarily overthrow him, but make sure that he cannot do whatever he wants to do. It has to do with the power game. It's a Southerner taking over power from the north. And the northern emirs and all those elites are still there. I'm just looking at him and watching what he will do. He has to balance that with the demands from the south. There's a great deal of nationalistic demands. There's the IPOB in the southeast and the Yoruba nation people in the southwest. The struggle for restructuring. The agenda table is full of what needs to be done. And I have a feeling that if he surrounds himself with the right people, he will know how to prioritize, and we know what to attack first and what to put in the medium and long term. But in the immediate term, we need to deal with the security matter in Nigeria. We need to end this insecurity of terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping. We need to, these hordes of so-called harassment that are roaming our countries and doing whatever they like must be stopped. This last president did not show any enthusiasm about stopping them for obvious reasons. But those reasons no longer exist. So we must now begin to stop them effectively and create a country that everybody can want to stay in. A lot of people have left this country because of fear, because of the insecurity, because of the danger that if you got on the road to go to your home village, you will be kidnapped and so on. Many people could not go for Christmas, so the usual migration to the east at Christmas did not take place because people were not too sure that they will not be kidnapped along the way or killed. So it needs to address insecurity because that is key to investment, to job creation, to poverty alleviation, poverty eradication, and all those issues that we want to address. If security is not done, it's not in the right frame, you will not achieve it. Like I always try to parody Jesus Christ, who said, seek ye for the kingdom of God, and everything shall be added unto you. Yes, there are certain fundamentals about running the country. For the economy to do well, you have to have security. If you have maybe 1/5 or 1/10 of the country that people cannot go to their farms, they are jobless, they are not productive, they are not adding to the GDP. So you need to do that. If farms are not coming, they are not investing because they are afraid of their staff being kidnapped, they are not sure of their investment. Then we need to address that very shortly, very quickly, and robustly as well.
Now, interestingly, you're joining us from the Southwest, and speaking of insecurity and the agitations across the country in the Southeast and the South-South, those who are saying, look, we're tired, we want to... Yesterday, we saw a situation where some, suspected Yoruba Nation agitators hijacked a radio station, and that's something. People are saying, look, when Buhari took over power, we saw people from the north who felt entitled to certain things begin to rear their heads, even in the south, in the northwest. Looking at what played out yesterday, what would you say is the mood of the Southwest this morning, as it is? One of your sons, the one who said, Emilokon, it's my turn, is becoming president today?
What I can tell you, and we have to be fair to the Southwest people, the Yoruba people do not have a sense of entitlement. They do not think that Tinubu is a Yoruba president. They think that it is good for a Yoruba man to be president. They do not expect him to be a Yoruba president like Buhari tried to be a Fulani president. Nobody will give Tinubu credit for that in the Southwest. The Southwest is a place where you have people who have a sense of justice and equity. They don't expect every member, every chief of staff of any of their security branches to be all Yoruba. They would have to be unacceptable to us, even in Yoruba land. So we must not believe that the Yoruba nation people are speaking for Yoruba people. They're not even demanding that everything should go to Yoruba land. They're saying that, look, what we want is equity. Let's have restructuring. Some of them are saying restructuring is no longer viable. Let's separate. You know, in any situation, you always have extreme views. In religion, there are extremists. In Islam, there is extremist Christianity. And so on, who will go and preach in the mosque, or those who will go and preach in the church. So you don't necessarily represent the general opinion of the people. The Southwest is not seeing Tinubu as a Yoruba president. It's a Yoruba man who is president, and that for them is satisfying enough, because we have a Nigeria in which everybody has the right to be president. So, but this strictly speaking, we do not expect him to be unfair, to distribute things to us in a way that we do not deserve. I don't think that's the Yoruba way.
Now, you mentioned that there's a great task ahead. The president-elect himself said he's aware of the enormous task ahead of him. Just yesterday at the inauguration dinner, he said, quoting him, "We must fight corruption, poverty, inconsistencies in policies, and many other problems confronting us. But don't pity me. I asked for the job. I campaigned for it. No excuses. I will live up to the bill to deliver. I promise you." This is another time where the president-elect is, promising and vowing to live up to responsibility. And recall that, from the famous speech of President Muhammadu Buhari when he took over in 2015, he had said he belongs to everybody and belongs to nobody, that he was going to, bring Nigerians out of poverty. He was going to fight insecurity. At the time, he spoke really, his speech was quite encouraging to many Nigerians, and Nigerians saw hope, only for that hope to be dashed 4 years down the line, and even 8 years today. With all of this, what kind of speech would you be expecting? The country has further lost, a lot of people have lost hope in governance. What kind of speech do you expect the president-elect to deliver today, seeing as the mood of the country, some people are not even happy and all?
Yes. Well, let me say that one major difference between the president that is living today and the one that is coming is that Buhari did not have the antecedents of a Democrat. We keep forgetting that. All those promises were just written to him for him in his speech. He did not have it. He was a military man all through. Somebody became a soldier around 17, 18, and all his life did not do any other thing. So all those promises were just lip services. He did not have it. He did not have a tradition, a background of diversity. Even in Lagos, where Tinubu has been governor, go and look at Tinubu's people. The people who surround him, who have made it through him, are not from Lagos State. Tinubu has an Igbo man in his cabinet. I know the vice president today is an Ijebu man from Ijebu. The Alake is from Ekiti. Diversity has always been part of Tinubu's governance style. So it's not going to change. And you can see that even from his performance in the election, he scored more votes in the north than anywhere else. So it's obliged to be a man of diversity. You're not going to be as insular as Buhari, because Buhari came from a different background. He was a military man. He did not politics. Tinubu has had to deal with politics, to build bridges across the country. I'm very confident that he will be a man of diversity. He will be a man who will make sure that every part of the country gets his just desire. So let us not worry. I have no problem in my mind about that. One thing that also excites me is that Tinubu's age and his experience and his wealth is in a stage of life where he should not need anything. What you should need is service to the people and his own legacy. What do I want to leave behind? You have done all this maneuvering, all this struggle to become president. You have been at it since 1999. Now you are there. When you are there, it's just the office that you needed. You don't need the money. You don't need the whatever. let's hope that he will recognize that he has a legacy to create, a legacy of service to the country, of patriotism, of patriotic service, and try to help us to build a new country. It's not just incremental. I built 10 kilometers of road or 20 kilometers of railway line. No. We want, like he said, we want him to fight corruption. We want good governance. What are those policies that will generate other policies? What are the things that will create jobs? It's not just saying, come and take SIM card, come and take a NAPEP. So, you have to, it was like teaching people how to fish rather than giving them fish. That's the kind of policies that we need, policies that generate other things, not policies that just give out and spend, like borrowing 800 million to share to 50 million families that will lead to only 7 people getting 7,000 per family. Now, how long does it take when a bag of rice is even less than 7,000 naira? So we have to move forward from that arithmetic type of government. We need incremental governance that is profound, that gives subsidy, a policy that gives rise to other policies that give rise, that generate things, productive things. And I hope, and I know from what he has done in Lagos that in a small way, if you like to diminish what he has done, but what he has done in Lagos is massive. Lagos today is a different ballgame. Lagos is the 5th largest economy in Africa if you were to be excised from Nigeria. So Emmanuel has done that. I'm sure he knows a bit about how to run a country.
We'll continue the conversation here. I'll bring in everyone who's been listening and wants to contribute to the conversation and share thoughts with you this morning. Maybe ask questions and also make comments. Feel free to join in now because Professor Otomajo will be leaving us shortly. 09073530044 and 09087668888. That is 09073530044 and 09087668888. What question that should be in the minds of many Nigerians, or one question that I'm asking this morning is, what kind of leadership would you want the Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu government to have? What kind of leadership would you want to see in Nigeria? Prof, let's talk about, you mentioned earlier that Asiwaju was instrumental to the delivery of President Muhammadu Buhari as president in Nigeria. One would wonder, how would it be that he lost control of the person who he had helped get into power, looking at the fact that in the last 8 years the policies by the Buhari administration didn't seem so friendly to many Nigerians. Many Nigerians have reservations to the kinds of policies that the Buhari administration, put in place. Looking at that and seeing the fact that Asiwaju was instrumental to his coming into power, people would wonder, is it that Bola Tinubu did not advise the president or couldn't even speak truth to power?
Yeah, but you have to understand that politics often is platforms for strange bedfellows. I think that both Tinubu and Buhari had different agenda when they were coming together, where they all encapsulated in the word change. But for Tinubu, change meant something different from what Goodluck Jonathan was doing. But for Buhari, it meant changing things to the north, bringing everything back to the north. That's what they had in mind. They didn't have.
But Professor, even in the north, people will tell you that the poverty in the north is one that hasn't been experienced before. So would it be that things? At the end of the day, even the northerners do not see any form of development, or some of the northerners do not see any form of development there.
They still try to do things. They still try to push things back to the north. It's not easy to fight poverty when your policies are not specific to fight. When you are giving people peanuts, 5,000, 10,000 to spend, you don't fight poverty that way. You create jobs. You create businesses for people to be able to continue to earn income. Poverty reduction is not about putting pocket money in people's pockets. What I'm saying is that Tinubu, of course, was not designed to have control over the president. But politically, he could have maneuvered, but he tried and initially, and he was pushed aside. Don't forget that Buhari was once a president, so he knows the intrigues of government. Besides, his agenda of promoting the North made sure that he had the best elements of advice from the North to insulate him from other areas of advice. So Tinubu really did not have an influence in Buhari's government, particularly the first term. It was only when Buhari wanted the second term that he came back to Tinubu and they maybe worked out a better arrangement in which Tinubu was nominated, the speaker, and all those things. Even everybody knows that he did not want Tinubu to be president. So that's a way of, the nature of power is that, as they say in Yoruba, it is the person that makes you an offer that you don't get rid of. So that, because he knows your secret and he continues to look at you as if it's his own creation, you reduce it to nothing. And that's what happens. People tend to cut off those who help them to get to power, because before they become big-headed and think that they have control. Because those in power also have people surround them who give them advice, who tell them how to go, and those things may not necessarily go along with the preference of those who have helped to put him in power. In fact, in some situations in the olden days, those who helped the king to become king and eliminated their killed, they're in prison and all that. So it's not surprising that Tinubu did not have any much influence on Buhari, because Buhari's agenda was quite different. Tinubu couldn't have influenced it. If you are determined to favor your own, the region of the country, that cannot be part of your national agenda that Tinubu can plug into. And he was eliminated, he was excluded from that, and it was only later on that gradually he was rehabilitated. But even then, he did not influence anything of significance. Buhari kept appointing Northerners to the key positions of state, and he couldn't stop that. And that's what generated all this secessionist restructuring noise. I hope that by his own inclusiveness, he will be able to address those deviances that have generated these secessionist, separatist struggles.
Let you go, Professor Otibanjo. Let's see what our listeners are saying. 09073530044 and 09087668888. You want to send SMS and WhatsApp messages? Make them to 09097054450. You can also send us an SMS on that line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to
Mr.
you.
Ancho.
Welcome. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, good morning. Okay, my name is Usman, calling from Guarimpa.
Usman, I'm good to have you. Let's hear you, please.
Okay. Let me appreciate your guest at least speaking well, especially when comparing, let me say, the President Muhammadu Buhari and the incoming President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, I may agree with him in certain areas. Say that let me say they have different perspectives on how to move Nigeria forward. Because Buhari was being butted in so many, let me say, he made so many promises. Just as the way, for instance, Nigerians were tired of Goodluck Jonathan administration, they bring in Buhari because of, let me say, insecurity, fighting corruption, and let me say, creating jobs, amongst others. But all for no abuse. I must say that this coming, let me say, president, maybe he looks, let me say, politics from different angles. What we are expecting is to carry all along. But what I'm trying to, let me say, point out here is that all these politics of whether region or ethnicity, it can never help Nigeria. When you look at the North bring Buhari, and when Buhari start deviating from the promises, it is the same North that go against Buhari in 2019. So also, when you are talking about region, the same North voted for Goodluck Jonathan 2011. And the same North voted for, let me say, Asuwaju. So you see, the North have let me say, different perspective when regards to politics. But the only thing is that how can you able to deliver the evidence of democracy to all, irrespective of whether you come from this, come from that. And that is what we are expecting from this coming president, to carry all along, irrespective of whatever divide that we are at this point in time. That is just it. May God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Usman. And it seems like we'll just have to take that one call. and just let Professor Femi Otubanjo leave. He has other things to do. On the second half of the show, I would have join us Dr. Another seasoned analyst is going to be joining us. Dr. Lomefo would join in analyzing the situation that we have today. The president has arrived at Eagle Square. Currently, we see that's what's going on now. Just bringing you an update as to what's happening there. Now, Professor Otubanjo, before you leave, what would your advice be to the Asiwaju government? President Buhari says he's leaving Nigeria better than he met it in 2015. And many people said this is because he had a lot of sycophants around him who couldn't really tell him the true situation of things. What would your advice be to the president-elect?
Well, I would advise him to, of course, I expect that he will already have done a lot of homework. If he has not, he should do more about what we need. And I've said the first thing we need is to try to address the security situation. You have to address joblessness among young people. The economy must be addressed, and so on, before you move on to social and physical infrastructure. But the reality is that as a politician, he must keep his ear to the ground. He must know what the last government did not do right and what needs to be done to make things right.
All right.
So it's about being a democratic.
Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof. Seems like we lost connection with Professor Femi Otubanjo there. Professor Femi Otubanjo is a professor of political science. He is been in the corridors of power, worked as a special advisor to two chiefs of general staff, Lieutenant General Oladipo Dia, retired, and late Vice Admiral Mike Akigbe. Thank you again. I'd love to say that thank you to Professor Otubanjo there. Thank you to everyone. Those of you who have, shared thoughts with us this morning, who couldn't actually share your thoughts on this half of the program, I'd love to inform you that the second half of the program would make space for you to make adequate, contribution. Also, just as a point of correction there, the vice president-elect has arrived at Eagle Square. Senator Kashim Shettima is arriving at Eagle Square. Just saw his motorcade pull up and is about to take his seat at the stand allotted for himself and the president. So keep it with us. We'll bring you up to speed with what's happening at Eagle Square. Would also give you a live broadcast from there as soon as our team is able to establish connection with our team there. All right, stay with us. The conversation continues. Dr. Lomefo will be joining us shortly to share thoughts with us again on the inauguration today.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just 15,000 naira? Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. The Entrepreneur. Talk your business for just 15,000 naira. Hurry now.
From Milky Way to Earth, everywhere there's internet, you can connect with Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Log on to our website www.eaglesfm.com. Follow and engage with us now on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja, Instagram at Eagles FM 1023. Download our apps on your Android and iOS stores. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on. Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Thank you for keeping it with us. This is Eagles Outlook on your radio experience. You can count on Eagles 102.3, bringing you updates as to what's happening at Eagles Square now. Before we get talking with Dr. Law Mefo, who is joining us this morning to analyze the situation and the mood of the country and all that's happening today, the inauguration day, the day that many have waited for. It's D-Day, as they say, the day that Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu will take the oath of office to become Nigeria's 16th president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Is going to be #1 citizen of the country. Now we're seeing the chief of staffs, all of the chiefs of staff, arriving at the Eagle Square. Also, the vice president-elect has taken a seat there, and many of the delegates from Europe and America also coming in this morning. Now, let's get to talk with Dr. Law Mefo. Dr. Mefo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, my brother. Good morning, Nigeria.
Happy Inauguration Day to you.
Yes, I think we can say that. We can say that again.
Yes.
It's really a dawn of a new era.
All right. Well, with the way things have been, this morning started in the FCT with rains, and many people say, "Oh, this is showers of blessings. Could be a good sign." What do you make of the state of the mood of the country? As regards the inauguration today, we've seen that some people, after the elections have been, aggrieved, and the federal government and the election management body in the country, INEC, has said go to court if you feel dissatisfied with the outcome of the election. And one of the presidential candidates in that election, Peter Obi, had also earlier said, well, the inauguration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu will strengthen him, and they said they were not going there. We've had people who say they cannot refer to Bola Ahmed Tinubu as their president, while other Nigerians are happy and saying, well, this is a good thing for Nigeria. They can't wait to have Bola Tinubu being sworn in and him taking over the reins of power. What do you make of all of these situations? And today, as it is, what are your thoughts on the inauguration?
Yeah. First and foremost, I must congratulate Nigerians for being so resilient and enduring almost 8 years to this point. I saw here and there all over the social media a certificate of survivor, being distributed. It's meant for humor, but it speaks deeply to our situation. So I think first we congratulate ourselves for enduring to this point, and to the point of the majority of us being alive to welcome a new administration. I say majority of us because thousands of Nigerians died in the last 8 years. So it's due to insecurity, due to hunger, Naira redesign policy that was badly thought out, badly implemented. It died due to so many reasons. So those who survived it, I say again, congratulations. I also would want to congratulate the incoming president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think I see Tinubu as one hell of a politician. He just pulled off a stunt, a stunt. Despite all odds, he was able to get his way through. He started by saying, any luck on, it's my turn. And he also proved one thing, that power, at least in Nigerian
expecting is taken and not really given. And no matter the outcome at the tribunal, whether he stays or leaves, depending on the outcome of what we call the hearing at the tribunals, I think he has already made history. Because even if he leaves, you will not invalidate the number of months he has spent as a president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That in itself is a height that many sages in Nigeria tried to reach but couldn't. Chief of Personnel Awolowo, pleaded to become the president of Nigeria just for 24 hours. That dream never came true. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe ended up as ceremonial president, never really the chief executive of Nigeria. So if you look at the great heights attained by these two men I have mentioned, Awolowo and Zik, you can understand, use it to understand what has just happened. In a matter of minutes, maybe an hour or less, or two at most, Tinubu would have attained the status of the president of the Republic of Nigeria, the most populous black nation on earth. And it's a feat. That said, I am not happy for one thing, even though I am really happy that Buhari is going, that he really has to go. And he's leaving in a matter of 2 hours. But I don't like the electioneering process. And I wouldn't blame Tinubu, even if he's the main beneficiary of the flawed process. I blame the opposition for not being able to put its act together, being able to keep a divided house, being able to keep a united house. Rather, they remained divided, PDP, the main opposition party, breaking into almost 3 factions, the mainstream PDP, the 5 G governors led by the implacable Governor Nyesom Wike of the Rivers State. And of course, if you also look at the fact that the P2B exited the PDP and make Labour what eventually became, you would also begin to see that Labour, as a matter of fact, it should be better seen as a faction of the PDP. That's a fact. So all this, and again, if you also see where Kwankwaso is coming from, Kwankwaso is also of a PDP extraction. So you can see a fragmented opposition, and that fragmentation obviously paved the way for the APC to retain power at the center. And, through a tainted electionary process, again, preparatory to the election itself, to what extent did the opposition work to ensure that the Electoral Act, for example, is foolproof, that you can't, for example, announce results without first uploading. I'm giving you an example. If that was ensured by opposition, maybe the controversy trailing this presidential election wouldn't be there. That said, I think that on the whole, Nigeria has reached another milestone. We have transited from one government to another. Buhari goes, Tinubu comes. And what is there left? 2 things. The tribunal and ultimately the Supreme Court do not be distracted, so that if Tinubu won, they should be able to prove to the world how he won. If Tinubu lost, they should be courageous enough to bring a remedy. That's it. And of course, Tinubu should also be that he has a very unique opportunity in history. For me, history beckons on him now to utilize the window, no matter how short he stay or long he stay, as president, to try to do things differently from his predecessor. Muhammadu Buhari, for me, really failed. Well, I give him some scores. He passed well. Muhammadu Buhari passed well when it comes to infrastructure. He did fairly well in infrastructure. There are key federal highways he constructed. There are at least 3 major bridges that he constructed, including Second Niger Bridge. He also started the process of devolution of power by finding a way from the exclusive list, the issue of railway, electricity, that is power, and a number, 1 or 2 others. Those are very remarkable achievements that must be credited to the man, but again, if you check woefully, that insecurity, where it comes to insecurity.
Well, Dr. Mefo, President Buhari may disagree with you. Just yesterday, he had mentioned that he was leaving the country better than he met it in 2015. However, let's.
For me, look, I found that statement quite insolent. You cannot say you left Nigeria better than you met it. So let us look at a few indices, because figures don't lie. 2015, a bag of rice was about 8,000 naira. Today, a bag of rice is about 40,000. Exchange rate was about 165 naira to a dollar. Today, dollar goes for 750. Diesel was about 150 when you came in. Today, diesel is about 900 naira. Kerosene was about 180 when you came in. Kerosene today is 1,000 naira. I don't know what exactly is he talking about. I don't get it. So if he says he met Nigeria in a state and now it is now better. How? What makes it? What makes it better? I want to understand it. What makes it better? What makes it better? What makes Nigeria better today? Nigerians are not better. You and I know this. In the last 8 years, a source is giving us that as many as 52,000 Nigerians died due to insecurity. When he came in, we had Boko Haram terrorism that was restricted to Sambisa Forest and the 4 local government areas in where are we now? Bandits have now become full-blown terrorists. Full-blown terrorists according to the Nigerian judiciary. That means he added not only that we haven't dealt sufficiently with the issue of Boko Haram terrorism. He now added bandits as terrorists also to the mix. Look at the killing. Look at what has happened in places like Plateau, in places like Benue. You can see up till last week, in Benue and Plateau, there were 3 burials in mass graves.
All right.
So when he says he left Nigeria better, I want to understand what he means. What's the inflation rate today? The inflation rate is well over 25%. When he came in, it was about 13-14%. So how? I don't understand. You as a journalist, tell me one aspect of your life that has grown any better. This the man came in. So we have reason to wish an end to his administration.
All right, Dr.
Mefo.
Please hold that thought.
He had good intentions. He had good intentions. But good intentions are not enough.
All right.
Good intentions are not enough.
Okay.
He came, he saw, he performed terribly.
That's it there, Dr. Mefo. Now, let's quickly announce to you that the president-elect has also just made his entry into the Eagle Square, and he is making his way to take his seat at Eagle Square. For those of you who are following, bringing you updates. We told you, we promised to bring you updates blow by blow, what's happening, and eventually we would have to link up with the team at Eagle Square as soon as we're able to establish a good connection there. But in the meantime, let's talk about the National Assembly, Dr. Mefo. The president gave a bit of a word of advice to the incoming president and saying, look, let the National Assembly elect or select their leaders or choose their leaders by themselves. This is something that we didn't really see happen, especially in the second tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari. Perhaps he has learned a thing or two in the last 4 years. What do you make of that?
Yeah, well, I was in the National Assembly, particularly the Senate, for at least 1 decade. As assistant, as an advisor to National Assembly, or particularly Senate leadership. For a decade, I said, so I understand how the place works. And I think that, yes, ideally, you should allow the National Assembly members to choose their leaders. That's what it should be. But again, you know that in a presidential democracy, you have, the quintessence of the principle of separation of powers in place. Yes, the 3 arms of government ought to be independent, to be able to oversight one another. That is the theory, and even the practice to some extent. But you see, experience has shown that a cordial relationship, is important in getting the will of progress, the will of governance to really move with less hitch. Because if you look at the various National Assembly from 1999, the relationship between the executive and the legislative arm of government, accounted for the kind of achievements recorded in those eras. If you look at what happened in the Obasanjo era of 1999 to 2007, the National Assembly, witnessed a lot of turbulence, a turmoil, often induced from the executive and led to high attrition in the leadership, especially in the Senate, where we had as many as 5 Senate presidents. Imagine in a space of 5 to 6 years, it wasn't quite good. And coming forward also, we saw stability under the leadership of David Mack, and so on and so forth. Much more was achieved under them. But again, even within that same era, we also saw from the House of Representatives that there were problems when Tambuwal and Ehedioha were, Speaker and Deputy Speaker. They didn't enjoy best of times with the president. With the president, we had then a good luck at Jonathan. So let me give you one instance. The frosty relationship between Goodluck Jonathan and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, despite the fact that 2 of them are for the same political party, the PDP, forced Jonathan not to submit the 2014 confab report for legislative action. So you can see that, yes, we want independence, but we also want a kind of cordial relationship without having the kind of thing we had on Lawan as the president of Senate.
All right,
You
Dr.
know,
Mafo.
Lawan, yes, you see, Lawan, yes, he was able to navigate to give us the Petroleum Industry Act. Lawan gave us the Petroleum Industry Act. Very wonderful. He was also able to, move the bills that commenced. In reality, the issue of devolution of powers from the center to the states. I mentioned earlier that Buhari was able to sign into law the bill for an act to devolve powers like electricity, like railway, from exclusive list to concurrent. All this happened on that one. It's also credit to him as the Senate President and, of course, the Chairman of the National Assembly. But if you check the amount of debt that Buhari administration is now, leaving behind for Tinubu, you will understand that Lawan didn't do well, to be honest. Because now, Lawan told us that whatever the president brings to National Assembly is good for Nigerians. Now, is that the job of the legislature? The legislature is to carry out oversight function on the executive. And you are there as a rubber stamp. Whatever the president brings is good for Nigeria. Now, following that principle, Buhari is now leaving behind a whopping 77 trillion naira for the incoming administration. Yesterday, on Saturday particularly, they had an emergency session. The Senate had an emergency session, and the House of Reps also had an emergency session only yesterday. Why did they meet? They met because they wanted to amend the law, the CBN Act, to move the Ways and Means window from 5% to 50%. Why do you think they want to do that? To give the incoming administration a borrowing window to borrow more money from the CBN and externally also. So we're not even thinking in terms of how to even create more money, but it's how to borrow. That is what the kind of leadership Lawan brought.
Interesting.
That's it.
Dr. Mafo, it's always a pleasure talking with you. I see our clock is in the ceiling. We have to wrap it up now. But thank you so much. We'll be talking with you in the coming days as well to see how things progress in
for you always.
Incoming administration. Thank you so much. Dr. Mafo is a forensic and social psychologist. Thank you so much again for talking with us.
Thank you, my brother.
Appreciate you. And the conversation continues here. We'll be talking about this some more, the inauguration and all that's happening in the country today. At subnational levels, inaugurations are also going on, even though in some states we saw a handover happen yesterday because the former governors in those states, as it is, wanted to be a part of we got a report that the Kano State governor handed over yesterday because he wanted to be a part of the Ashiwaji inauguration in Abuja here. Keep it with us. Business News comes out shortly, and right after that, the conversation continues. The media crew will be talking more and bringing you updates. We'll hope to link up with the proceedings at the Eagle Square, where the inauguration of the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is happening. Currently, just pulling up now is the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo. He just pulled up and would be making his way to take his seat at Eagle Square for the inauguration. Keep it with us.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
This is Eagles 102.3 News, your number one radio experience you can count on.
Here is the business news bits. The House of Representatives has approved an amendment to the Central Bank of Nigeria Act, raising the ceiling of Ways and Means advances from the Apex Bank from 5% to 15%.